In this video, we will explore the topic of pesticides. Our environment is affected by pesticides. But do you know what a pesticide is? Why pesticides are used? And how pesticides are affecting us? Therefore, this video is dedicated to briefly present to you the topic, pesticides and environmental health, what we have to know. The first thing we will discuss is the general concept and the use of pesticides. Next, we will look at what impact they have on our lives. Thirdly, the case of the EU and Taiwan and how they are dealing with pesticide. And lastly, we will discuss some examples of alternatives that are currently being used. So you might ask yourself, what is a pesticide? Well, a pesticide is something that prevents, destroys, or controls a harmful organism, pest, or disease, or protects plants and plant products during production, storage, and transport. The reason we use pesticides is to control weeds, protect against insect infestation, and protect against plant diseases, therefore improving and protecting availability, quality, reliability, and price of produce. Although we use pesticides to ensure our crop quantity and quality, using pesticides may have some adverse effects to the workers using them, bystanders, consumers, animals, and our environment. The risk to humans can come in two forms. One, from direct exposure to workers and producers, and two, indirect exposure to consumers, residents, and bystanders. The most common adverse effects are acute headaches, vomiting, stomach aches, and diarrhea. However, low but constant exposure levels may lead to long-term chronic health impairment. The risk to the environment comes in the form of chemical substances, contaminating water, air, and soil, potentially affecting plants and wildlife, and resulting in loss of biodiversity. Now let's take a look on how the EU is dealing with pesticides. The EU's objective is to minimize the impact of pesticides on human health and the environment through reduced dependency and through increased use of low-risk and non-chemical pesticides. The EU's goal is to take actions to reduce by 50% the use and risk of chemical pesticides by 2030, and reduce by 50% the use of the more hazardous pesticides by 2030 as well. The EU has created a directive on the sustainable use of pesticides that focuses on its member states creating national action plans to deal with the adverse effects of pesticides and their general use. The national action plans gives each member state the freedom and creativity to use their own unique methods in order to lessen the effects of pesticides and switch to less harmful alternatives. However, this can also produce challenges in assessment by the EU as a result of a non-conform methodology between each member state. Trials in Navarre, Spain showed that integrated pest management is a viable alternative to chemical pesticides on farms. The trials showed that using natural predators, bioinsecticides, cover crops, and other methods enabled a 45% reduction in pesticides used on fruit trees, vineyards, and vegetables. Now let's take a look at what Taiwan is doing in regards to pesticide regulation. Taiwan has put together the Agro-Pesticides Management Act, governed by the Council of Agriculture, with the latest amendment being in 2018. This act is enacted to protect agriculture production and ecological environment, prevent and eliminate pests, prevent hazards from agro-pesticides, strengthen agro-pesticide administration, promote the development of agro-pesticide industry, and enhance the safety of agricultural products. In 2017, the minister vowed to reduce the use of pesticides by 50% by 2027. The Agro-Pesticides Management Act can be broken down into three major parts. The first part talks about the main actors governing the act. This can be further broken down into central and municipal or county-city competent authorities. The second part denotes the definition of a pesticide under Taiwanese regulation. And the third part of the Management Act looks at possible alternatives to pesticides. The alternatives discussed are the following: biological enzymes, insect greenhouses, natural predators, and integrated disease surveillance. As you can see, regulating, assessing, and implementing the use of pesticides and their alternatives is a complicated and lengthy process. However, the EU and Taiwan and other countries around the world are striving to reduce their use of pesticides and find less harmful alternatives in the process. I hope this video gave you some useful information and a better understanding on this important, complex topic.